Hello, hello, my friends. We have a big restock happening for Caramel Sundays in about a week. Now, I know I'm the last one to show up to this party. In fact, my fellow Caramel Sundays ambassadors have actually already shared a lot of their cold sniff impressions. Maybe by the time you're seeing this video, maybe some of them have already started to share some post-burn thoughts. However, I mentioned in another video that USPS had it out for me, I feel like, a week and a half ago, and they were severely delayed in getting me my candles. And so I figured, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and wait till we're a little bit closer to the launch time to share my thoughts on this new fall restock, which is happening next Sunday, July 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys know the drill. Make sure you guys are signed up for the early access text alert, because this one is going to be a big one, right? We all know fall is what Caramel Sundays is known for. I love a lot of their fall fragrances. So in this video, you guys, I'm going to share with you the 7 candles that I have in front of me, give you guys some cold sniff impressions, as well as initial post-burn thoughts on 2 of these candles. I'm also going to let you guys know at the end of this video, I have my Caramel Sundays playlist, and I'm going to let you guys know that there are some returning fragrances to the lineup this year that I did do reviews on in 2025. So if you are wanting some ideas about post-burn thoughts on, again, the 2025 version, from what I know, you guys, there have been no tweaks made to any of those formats. So if you're wanting some information about, what my nose picked up, how things performed for me, I'm going to refer those to you. So I will let you guys know what candles those are in this video. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with you guys is actually what is still on my wish list, because you guys know, as a Caramel Sundays brand ambassador, I don't have an affiliation where I get like a discount code, where I get commission, nothing like that. Just basically being an ambassador for the brand does allow me to pre-order some of these candles at a little bit of a discount. So, kind of, I can get my hands on them and share my thoughts with all of you guys. But again, I don't have an affiliate discount code. Caramel Sundays does have a great rewards program that I would highly recommend that you check out. And again, if you check out that Caramel Sundays playlist, if you're new to shopping with the brand, some of my older videos in that playlist, I do give my tips and tricks for how to shop with them, because their business model is a little bit different than some other retailers that you might shop with. It's kind of, as some people would describe it, Hunger Games. Things come in and they go very, very quickly, I think, particularly for fall. So feel free to check out that playlist. Again, I will have it linked at the end of this video. I'll try to remember to put it in the description box for you guys as well. But yeah, I've got a couple of 2 wicks here. These are the ones that are first poured. So again, they pour their 2 wicks and then they pour their 4 wicks and their 5 wicks. And so when we are given the green light to go ahead and order some of the candles, they're always going to be in the 2 wick format for the pre-order. So again, there's some 4 wicks that I am definitely eyeing, and there's also a 5 wick that I'm excited to get my hands on. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and start out with with what I have in front of me, because that's really what you guys are all here for, right? I mean, that's usually what I'm tuning in for as well. Okay, Autumn Leaves. So Autumn Leaves has fragrance notes of green stem, cedar leaf, autumn air, pine, apple, pear, clove, earthy musk. Now, for those of you guys who maybe are new to the soy wax candle community, a lot of these brands, not just Caramel Sundays, but most of the brands that I shop from, they're pretty good about coming up with their own unique blends. All of them, I think, to some degree, use a little bit of stock oil. So sometimes you're going to come across fragrances that are familiar across brands. And then there's some that are their own unique, they've come up with that fragrance combo. And yeah, but this one, for those of you guys who are maybe buying from Caramel Sundays because you like the non-toxic ingredients, you like the 100% soy wax, you like the clean burn, but maybe you want fragrances that you used to love in other brands. There's another big brand called Leaves, and this is Caramel Sunday's spin on it. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, I actually prefer this. It is in the same fragrance family as Bath & Body Works Leaves. If you're familiar with Kringle Candles Leaf Peeper, I'm not sure what Goose Creek, what they would have, if they have something similar, or if Yankee has something similar. But this is a very nostalgic fragrance. Yeah, it's in that vein, but I'm going to tell you guys, it's not as oof, in your face as leaves can be. I know that sometimes leaves can be very, very dominating. A lot of people can get headaches from it. To my nose, this is actually slightly sweeter. I detect a little bit more of a sweet apple note in here. The apple note that Caramel Sundays uses is very, very good, you guys. It's in quite a few of these fragrances, it's a very like almost like a crisp, sweet apple. Um, and this is really, really nice. But again, if you're somebody who likes the fragrance Leaves from Bath and Body Works, but you're wanting a clean alternative, then I would definitely point you in this direction. This is the first year that I have purchased this. Now I am going to give some fragrance combos suggestions as I do this video, because you all know I'm always burning more than one candle and I like them to complement each other. I did not haul it this time because I did have it last year, I think in a 4-wick, and I do have a dedicated review already up. But if you like, if you are looking for something to complement Leaves, definitely check out Always Autumn, which is very similar to Bath and Body Works Autumn. If you're familiar with Kringle Candles Autumn Amber, very, very similar vein. And those two complement each other really well. This fragrance, as well as Always Autumn, are for the people who don't want gourmand fragrances. I know that there's a lot of us out there. I'm an equal opportunity fragrance enthusiast. I love all of them. Different fragrance families. I like gourmands, but I like fresh and I like perfumey, and I like all of them. I love fruity. But I know that there's some people who are like, hey, I love your brand. I love Caramel Sunday's brand, but I don't want the dense foodie stuff. So what would you recommend? And I would definitely say Autumn Leaves and Autumn Amber are the two that I would really, really recommend if you're not a foodie type of candle burner. But this smells quite strong on cold. And again, I probably won't get to burning this super, super soon. Maybe by late July, I'll get around to it. I did want to let you guys know, I have mentioned this now in a couple of videos. I am actually going out of town. In fact, the day that I'm planning to upload this, I will already be out of town. So I won't have any dedicated post-burn reviews on any of these candles that I'm talking about today. I am planning on filming a dedicated review of Hawkins Autumn to have up for you guys, because that will be available again for this restock. And I have actually burned that one a couple of times. It's amazing. Spoiler alert. It's amazing. But I will get a dedicated, I am at this time planning to have a dedicated review scheduled to go up prior to the launch next week. So that's the only candle I think that I will have new in terms of a new candle review prior to next week's launch. But again, I'm going to let you guys know a list of the ones that I've already reviewed for you guys. All right, another candle that I have actually already, I've already purchased, and this is one that I actually do already have a review on for my channel, is Fall Gathering. Fall Gathering has fragrance notes of peach, spice, warmth, berries, cinnamon, clove, and spice. And here's the thing with this one, you guys. So this is a repurchase for me. It was funny because I remembered really liking this last year, but I couldn't necessarily remember the exact fragrances, right? Because I burned so many candles, you guys, that it's hard for me to remember like exactly what a candle smelled like until I get my nose on it again. And then I'm like, oh yes, this triggers a memory. This is beautiful. This, I definitely get the clove in here, and I get some of those spice notes, but I do smell peach. Now, this is not the same peach note that I get in, say, salted peach butter, which that was a fantastic fragrance. Still kicking myself that I did not get more of that, because, ooh, that was good. But this I smell, it says like warmth, and that's a great way to describe it. I smell peach and berries. There's a fruitiness to this. But again, one of the things that I really love about how Caramel Sundays does their fall fragrances is that prior to, I would say prior to me really launching into my channel, prior like to the days when I was just more of like a casual candle burner, fall to me was always just apple and pumpkin and maybe some spice. I never really thought about incorporating berries. I don't know why. I wasn't really a big berry burner, I guess. And this, like Caramel Sundays does a really good job of mixing berries with other fruits, but also giving you the warmth and comfort of spice without it being like a spice cake or something like that. It's just, yeah, it's cozy, it's inviting. Again, this is a very nice You could burn this all throughout fall. But again, not overly food gourmand type of thing. Like this isn't going to be something that I'm going to burn and I'm going to think like, oh, I'm hungry. This gives me more just kind of like cozy fall cottage types of vibes. Oh, it's beautiful. So again, I do have a post-burn review already on my channel from 2025 for this fragrance. Now, the candle that I am going to suggest you pair that with is honestly, I have a feeling, you guys, this is probably going to be the first fragrance to sell out because all 5 of us ambassadors love this scent. It is a returning fragrance from last year, and a lot of people fell in love with it. In fact, I think Sierra told me, she was like, I didn't realize how many people loved this scent until they started chiming in, you know, once they released the fall lineup and people were like, oh my gosh, I remember Autumn Jam. So Autumn Jam, highly recommend that you pair it with Fall Gathering. Autumn Jam has fragrance notes of apple, citrus, cranberry, spice, wood, and dried clove. Now, every time I put my nose in this, I'm like, oh, this is good. This you definitely get apple. You get the sweetness of the fruits and the cranberry in here. The cranberry is not overly tart. Caramel Sundays does cranberry really, really well. I'm hoping that maybe like their last fall launch, that they'll release cranberry and birch again. That was a fantastic fragrance. But they do cranberry well. But what sets this apart, it almost smells like a spice, almost like a berry cider or something like that. But what rounds this out is there is a base note of wood and dried clove in here. That is those are the 2 notes that really, really set this one apart for me. I have told my husband, and he agrees. We used to go up several years ago. We haven't done it in a long time, but we used to rent a cabin. If you're in the Arizona area, you know where this is. We used to rent a cabin up in the White Mountains in this really tiny town called Greer. In the summertime, a lot of people try to escape up to the mountains, which, fun fact, you guys, most people, when they think of the state of Arizona, think of it as being all desert. Half of this state is actually very, very high terrain mountains and forests. Think like Rocky Mountain, maybe not like that high, like not like the peaks of like the Rocky Mountains, but it's a lot of like ponderosa pines and open meadows. About 9,000 foot elevation. I mean, it's high up there. If you're ever planning to go to the Grand Canyon, be aware that that is in a very high elevation area of Arizona. Anyways, I digress. But in Greer, they had this little antique store down by the Little Colorado River called, I think it was called like the Quacker Barrel. And it was just the sweetest, like in this old cabin. I mean, like old cabin right there by the creek. And when I would walk in there, that's what this reminds me of. It's that smell of like wood with clove, but you get the berries and you get the spice. Oh, it's just, this is a very nostalgic fragrance for me. Spoiler alert, I do have this on my wish list to pick up in a different format, but I couldn't resist getting it in another 2-wick because I knew that I loved this fragrance. I will say this, and I think a lot of other ambassadors have said this, if you only get one fragrance from this launch, or if there's one that should be your top priority, it's Autumn Jam. I'm telling you, I have a feeling this one's going to sell out. I think Caramel Sundays has a feeling that this one's going to be very popular. And one of the good things about them that they have really, as they've grown and adjusted and started learning, is that I think that they have done a really good job of making sure that they're bringing back popular, quickly selling out fragrances for at least another 1 or 2 restocks for the season. So yeah, Autumn Jam. If this one is on your list, you guys, I would highly recommend that you go in and grab this one first. Again, go back and look at some of my other videos for what strategies to deploy. But Autumn Jam, it is just fantastic. And again, if you like complementary fragrances, it will burn really nicely with Fall Gathering. Now, let's talk about some new fragrances to Caramel Sundays. So we're going to start out with Oat Orchard. Now, this one has kind of gotten some mixed reactions on first sniffs. Oat Orchard has fragrance notes of apple peels, mac apples, sweet cream, warm spice, what does this say? Slow cooked oats, cinnamon crumble, vanilla oat milk, tonka, and cozy musk. Now, okay, a lot of people were saying initially when they got this, and I did too, that they were like, I don't know what to think about this. Now you're gonna see, I've already burned this. here's the thing with this one. I told Sierra this. If you are a fan of their crisp country apple scent, which I'm going to tell you guys, I really enjoyed that fragrance in my, they used to make the like all-purpose cleaners. They've discontinued that product, but if I really liked it in that product, but I had a 4-wick of it last year, and it was a fragrance for me that the apple note got too sweet for me. It's kind of a tart, sweet apple. There's no like spice or anything like that in there. I have a point to this, you guys. If you found crisp country apple to be a little bit too sweet, I'm going to tell you the apple note in here, I think is probably similar to the one. I don't have confirmation on that. That's just what my nose is detecting. Um, but I like this more because the other elements here, the oats, the creaminess that is coming from the oat milk and the tonka, the cozy musk is kind of, I would say it's softening what I would say would be kind of the bite that my nose detected from crisp country apple. Crisp country apple for me, particularly if I got it burning for too long, it came across a little bit chemical like to my nose. And I'm just saying that's my nose. A lot of other people really, really love that fragrance. In fact, I think it's one of Sierra's favorites. And everybody's noses pick up and detect different things. But that was my experience with it. But I will say, I burned this the other night. And it's funny because, again, on Cold Snip, a lot of us were saying like it almost has like a chemical type of smell to it. But once I burned it, this was absolutely stunning, you guys. This was just a nice, good, bright, slightly tart apple, but the creaminess in here just kind of tones it down and balances it a little bit for me. I really, really, really enjoyed this fragrance the other night, burning it. I would say that it's probably the same like oat base that you would find in Lunchbox if you purchase that in their May restock. It's got that same kind of creamy vibe going on, but the apple is very, very noticeable. So I'm thinking my girl Terry, Terry, I think you're going to be happy with this one because I know how much you love apple. And yeah, again, the oats are not like super, super oat. It's not super spiced either to my nose. But again, if you're somebody who wanted to like crisp country apple, but it was a little bit too much for you, I definitely think that you'll be happy with this. This is definitely like an apple gourmand type of fragrance, whereas say like autumn leaves is more, it's not a gourmand. It's more of like fresh, outdoorsy. Now, the candle that I recommend you purchasing this with, is the one that I was burning it alongside the other night, is also a new fragrance. And I think this is actually going to be part of their Halloween lineup. This is Nutty Nightmare. Nutty Nightmare has fragrance notes of warm peanuts, woody vanilla, baked apples, ginger spice, caramelized brown sugar, and allspice. So, okay, if you had, I want to say that that the candle I'm going to be referring to was released in, was it December? January. The pistachio peanut brittle. If you liked the peanut brittle accord in that candle, you're going to like this because it's the same to my nose. It is definitely that peanut. You get a little bit of that caramelization in there. You get I detect the woody note in there, that woody vanilla, particularly when it's burning for a little bit longer. That seems to come out. Here's the thing though, the apple note in here is noticeable, and the apple note is the same apple note that I'm detecting in Oat Orchards, which means that they complement each other really, really well. I burned this the other night in my bedroom and it performed really well for me, but it was definitely a different fragrance than Oat Orchard. Even though I felt like they shared some similar notes, they were not the exact same fragrance. But complementary. If you are somebody who likes that like peanut brittle base that was in pistachio peanut brittle. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, I did not have, what was it, Nutty Little Christmas last year, where it was like the cranberry and the peanut. I didn't have that candle, so I can't compare. If they bring that back this year, I'll pick it up. But yeah, this is really, really nice. I know a lot of the other ambassadors are liking this one as well. But if you're wanting a good combo, Nutty Nightmare goes really nicely with the Oat Orchard. All right, I have 2 more candles to sniff here. The next one up is another one that a lot of people are excited about. It is Berry Bakehouse, which how sweet is that name? Fragrance notes are creamy blueberries, sweet pumpkin, brown sugar, warm spice cake, cinnamon, clove, vanilla frosting. So this is kind of what I have been told, and this is what my nose is smelling. This is double dip Danish had a baby with coffin cake. That's what I'm smelling here. That's what I've been told the DNA is. And yeah, this is beautiful, you guys. Now I'm going to be honest with you. Blueberry is not a fragrance that I typically burn in the fall. This is a fragrance that I would reach for probably right now. I don't know why. I've never associated blueberry with the fall. Again, you guys, I was always apple, pumpkin, give me some spice. That's pretty much where I was at. But I've expanded my mind, and this is very pretty. Now, again, if you like double dip Danish to me is definitely more of a spring and summer fragrance with that kind of that vanilla, oh, what would I call it? Like the vanilla frosting in there. It's got a little bit more depth of like kind of like a cream cheese type of thing going on with the blueberry. Whereas this is still that same beautiful blueberry note that you get in double dip Danish, but I am detecting the spice in the background here. I actually think that I will probably light this up pretty soon. I think I finally am at the point where I have the green light. I burned those other 2 probably earlier than I should have. You know, they like to have a 14-day curing time on all of them, but I don't know. I got good performance the other day when I burned those 2, so I was like, well, oh well. But yeah, this is a very pretty fragrance. Again, if you're wanting like the fall sister to double dip Danish, if you're somebody who likes to burn blueberry fragrances year round, this is going to be a great scent for fall and winter. And then the other fragrance that is not entirely new to Caramel Sundays, but it's new to me. They had this fragrance last year when they did those specialty glass pumpkins. They are not going to be doing specialty glass this year. I think the only possibility is that there might be a black jar for Halloween, but even that is not confirmed yet. But this is the fragrance Banana Foster. Banana Foster has fragrance notes of caramelized bananas, brown sugar, buttercream, nutmeg, cinnamon, and woody vanilla. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, okay, Bananas Foster, there's another brand, Kringle has a Bananas Foster, and that one for a lot of people comes across very woody, almost scorched, a little bit boozy with the rum notes. I'm going to tell you guys, this is not Kringle's Bananas Foster. This is a very different fragrance. Again, I like this. The banana is almost candy-like, I would say, to my nose. It's a very different fragrance than, say, Kringle's warm banana loaf or their banana bread. The banana here is a little bit candied, but I do get the spice elements in here. I would say that for me personally, this is probably one of Caramel Sunday's best banana fragrances that I have liked. I know a lot of people loved Monkey Business earlier this year. But I like that there's some spice accords mixed in here with the banana, caramelized bananas. Yeah, there's definitely an additional sweetness to it. But again, nothing is coming across scorched or burned. Here's the thing for me, though. I am going to say this. I'm kind of over banana at this point in the season. So I actually see myself wanting to set this aside and possibly burn this maybe next spring or summer. I don't know. Maybe I'll get an itch to get it going. I actually feel like Bananas Foster would actually burn really nicely with the Berry Bakehouse, though. Maybe I'll do that combo for a little bit here. That's probably the one that would make the most sense. I feel like they would be good summer to fall transitional scents. And that is one of the things that I am going to say about, and I told Sierra this too. I said, I think that they chose a lot of their fall one launch, like their fall launch collection very, very well, because a lot of these fragrances, while they are distinctly, I would say definitely fragrances that people would say would go with the fall season, they are really nice early fall scents. They're not too heavy yet. They feel like they can, you can, again, if you're a seasonal burner, you can start burning these in August. They are preparing you for the fall season. They're kind of like dipping your toe in. You're not going full bore pumpkin and spice and whatnot, which again, I know that there's a lot of people who love burning those types of fragrances year round. They're mood burners. They burn whatever they want. But for people like me who are definitely a little bit more seasonal, I really appreciate that the variety of scents here are definitely more so in the family of early fall in my mind. So really appreciate that. Okay, really quickly, you guys, we're going to go over the fragrances that are going to be part of this launch that I already have had in my collection and I already have dedicated reviews on. So I mentioned I do have a review of Always Autumn. I did mention that I already did a review of Fall Gathering. I have a review here on my channel of Fall Cider. Spoiler alert, you guys, I do want to get my hands on that one again. I have a feeling that this will not be the only launch that we see Fall Cider make an appearance. As others have said, excuse me, you guys, the fan going. I have to have a fan on, it's too hot. As others have said, Fall Cider, if you are a fan of Bath & Body Works Cider Lane, but you're wanting the clean option, Fall Cider is definitely the route you're going to want to go, and I would 100% agree with that one. So I do have a review of Fall Cider. I do have a review of Witching Hour already on my channel. Toasted Pumpkin Crunch. Now, the caveat I'm going to give with Toasted Pumpkin Crunch is last year when I had it, I did have some wick issues. Now, Caramel Sundays has fixed that issue, but just be aware, I haven't rewatched my reviews, but if that's something that I note, and remember you guys, that was on a 2025 pour. And one of the wick issues that I was having with Toasted Pumpkin Crunch is that my wicks were burning so slowly that excuse me, let me get a drink of water here before I go into a coughing fit because I've been talking too long and that fan. But what I was going to say is that I think that because my wicks were burning so slowly on that, it was actually increasing that like smoky note in there, and I wasn't loving it as much. But I know that Toasted Pumpkin Crunch is well loved by people, and I can see why. I mean, it's a little bit more smoky and more pumpkin in it than Coffin Cake, but a good fragrance. Already mentioned Fall Gathering, and I do have a review on Dad's Pumpkin Pie. I had that last year in a 4-wick. As others have mentioned that I have said this, to my nose, you guys, Dad's Pumpkin Pie is definitely more savory. It's definitely more of the crust. It's not really like that like sweet spiced pumpkin pie filling. It's a great fragrance. But yeah, I'm going to tell you, if you get Dad's Pumpkin Pie, I think, what's the fragrance? Is it called Sweet Autumn? It is one of the ones that, truthfully, you guys, the fragrance notes made me a little bit nervous, so I did not order it in the 2-wick. However, I did take a trip down to Phoenix this week, and I met up with Amy from Beloved Fragrance Finds, and I know she has that one, and she's really enjoying it. And she let me stick my nose in hers, and I actually do like it. It is on my list to purchase. I think it's going to be available in a 2-wick and a 4-wick. So I think I'm going to pick one of those up in the restock. But I could see the Sweet Autumn pairing really nicely with Dad's Pumpkin Pie. So just from what I remember Dad's Pumpkin Pie being and getting my nose on that Sweet Autumn. Sweet Autumn smells more like of a pumpkin puree. That's what my nose was picking up, a little bit sweetened. Very, very pretty. And then I do have a review as well on Coffin Cake. So Coffin Cake, I love that fragrance. Is it anything like reinventing the wheel? No, but also I am going to say it's a beautiful spice cake fragrance. There is something about that one when it is burning that I cannot figure out exactly what it is. Something about that candle when it is burning is just, it gives me, it's just spice cake perfection to my nose. And I absolutely love it, which is why we're going to segue here into what is on my wish list. Coffin Cake is actually the one fragrance that I plan to pick up in a 5-wick. Spoiler alert for my July empties. I did finish burning my Key West coconut. I typically only purchased one 5-wick candle to keep as a kind of like as a centerpiece on my kitchen table. Personally, you guys, I don't burn candles from my kitchen table because that's in a little bizarre area in my open concept that does not like to throw any candles from there. I've tried every brand there and they just all kind of stay. I think it's because there's a bay window in that area. But anyways, I do like to keep one on display. And so what I will typically do is I will make sure that I buy a 5-wick in a fragrance that is very versatile, and will go with a lot of other fragrances in my house, because so that way I can move that 5-wick around to different areas. And for me, the coffin cake it's just versatile, not only for the fall season, but I could see myself honestly burning coffin cake going into the holiday season because it's that spice cake. I could see mixing it with tree fragrances, but earlier in the year, I can see mixing it with apple and with pumpkin. It's such a versatile fragrance. So coffin cake is on my list to purchase in a 5-wick. I do want to get a 4-wick of autumn jam. I've already told you guys, we all know how much I love that one. And then there are 3 other candles that are going to be offered in 4 wicks, but they're not going to be offered in the 2-wick vessels. Those are October Embers. You've got me at smoky marshmallow note. Of course, I want to try that out, or that fragrance out. Fall Farmhouse. I'm very intrigued by it. I think it's like a spiced peach type of fragrance. So it's come around quite a few times. And so I'm very curious about that. And then the other one that all of my friends are telling me that I have to get my hands on this year, I hemmed and hawed last year about getting it, and I just never did. Because again, you guys, candles can get really expensive. But this year I am going to give pumpkin cashmere a try. A lot of people have told me that that is an absolutely beautiful fragrance and that I need to try it. So I have 4 wicks, 1 5-wick, and then I am also planning on getting a 2-wick of Sweet Autumn. Is it called Sweet Autumn? I think that's what it's called. If not, I'll put a correction here, but I think it's called Sweet Autumn. It's the one with the molasses and a little bit of the fragrance notes are a little bit confusing. I was trying to determine what direction it was going, but it smells very, very good on cold. And so I'm going to get a 2-wick of that one, and possibly a 2-wick of fall cider. But again, I may have some insider info that this is not going to be the only restock that fall cider is going to be available. So anyways, you guys, let me know in the comment section down below what is on your wish list. I know a lot of you guys are fall lovers just like me. So I would be really curious to hear what is on your wish list. Again, don't forget to sign up for that early access. They say it, I say it, we all say it. 2 minutes does not seem like a lot, but it really, really is. Make sure you have a strategy going in. Check out some of my videos where I give you some ideas for how to strategize, so that way you can get your hands on all of the things that you are wanting to get. And always remember, you guys, in the end, it's just candles. They're fun, they're frivolous. They're not completely necessary to our lives. For me at least, I know that they're not necessary. I really enjoy them, but they're not necessary. So have some patience. I know Caramel Sundays has been working really, really hard on making sure that they are ready to go for this restock. And yeah, I know a lot of us are very excited about it. So again, let me know in the comment section what you are hoping to pick up. So if you like this video, again, hit thumbs up. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel. Like I said, I do hope to have Hawkins Autumn review up for you guys by the end of this week. Yeah, it's fantastic. If you've been wanting to get it, if you've heard the hype, yes, get it. It's great. So anyways, I'm starting to ramble, which means it is my cue to go. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.